10 is a new pope. Pope Francis is currently in his mid-80s and has suffered health problems in recent times, so it's not too far-fetched that it has been predicted that there will be a rise of a new pope in 2024. The prediction says, through the death of a very old pontiff, a Roman of good age will be elected, he writes. While the arrival of a younger, vigorous pope sounds like a good thing, Nostradamus immediately goes on to say that the new leader will weaken his see and that he will be pope for a long time. Now, the exact meaning of weaken is of course open to debate. Does he mean the influence of the church will somehow lessen, or is some greater scandal on the way? He also said he will not be the chosen Roman pontiff, he will not be heeded near or far, a dark-skinned youth aided by the great king will deliver the bag to another red one. Now, the reference to the dark-skinned youth in the verse suggests that the future pope will be a cardinal of African or Asian origin. Number 9. The Third World War. Nostradamus wrote that humanity will face 7 months of Great War in 2024. Now, researchers' opinions on the outbreak of World War III are divided, as some believe it will be a continuation of the war in Ukraine, while others foresee the possibility of a major conflict provoked by China over in Taiwan. Now, according to the prophecies, several world powers, including the United States, Russia, and China, will be involved in the new Great War. The Antichrist very soon annihilates the 27 years his war will last. The unbelievers are dead, captive, exiled, with blood, human bodies, water, and red hail covering the ear. Now, he even dares to point out how the conflict will start, with a strange event related to planes or submarines, something unusual that will cause a reaction, and from that moment, the situation will be out of control, in his own words. Yeah. That does not sound good. Now, with the mention of China, many believe he might be referring to a nuclear war, as the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists and Federation of America Scientists estimated in 2023 that China has a stockpile of approximately 410 nuclear warheads, while the United States Department of Defense put the estimate at more than 500 operational nuclear warheads. Number 8. Earthquake on the West Coast. Nostradamus also predicted a terrible earthquake that would cause widespread destruction in California and result in many deaths. The verse indicating this great catastrophe says, on the 20th day of Taurus, the sun will tremble the earth, the great packed theater will collapse, the air, heaven, and earth will darken and become cloudy, when the false god and saints be swept away. Now, the interpretation suggests that the 20th day of Taurus refers to May 20th, when the sun enters the zodiac sign of Taurus, and that the big theater could be Hollywood or Los Angeles. Now, this could make sense because of the San Andreas Fault. A fault is a planar crack in a rock along which slippage has taken place. Most faults are small, even microscopic, and are not important, but some faults are many miles long. For years, people have been worrying about the San Andreas Fault rupturing. Overall, such a quake would cause some $200 billion in damage, 50,000 injuries, and 2,000 deaths, researchers estimated. But it's not so much about dying in the earthquake, it's about being miserable after the earthquake and people giving up on Southern California, says one of the researchers. Everything a city relies on to function, water, electricity, sewage systems, telecommunications, roads, would be damaged and possibly not repaired for more than a year. Without functioning infrastructure, the local economy would easily collapse and people would abandon Los Angeles.
At number 7 is economic collapse. Baba Vanga's predictions have sparked concerns. This prediction reflects the ongoing geopolitical tensions and a shift in economic power dynamics. The world could witness a significant transition, transferring economic dominance from the West to the East in her prediction. Such change could trigger widespread economic instability affecting nations worldwide. Geopolitical conflicts and the redistribution of economic influences might exacerbate existing tensions, potentially leading to severe consequences for the global economy. Fluctuations in trade, financial markets, and international relations impacting the livelihoods of millions. Fear of impending economic crisis due to these shifts is palpable. While predictions are not certainties, the potential outcomes demand attention and proactive measures to navigate possible challenges in the global economic landscape. At number 6 is cyber attacks. The rise in cyber attacks poses a significant danger, particularly targeting crucial infrastructures like power grids and water treatment plants, according to the prediction. Attacks won't just disrupt our daily lives, they could potentially spiral into national security threats. Imagine your access to electricity or clean water suddenly compromised by some malicious hacker's actions. That's pretty crazy. It's not just inconvenient, it's a matter of survival. The vulnerability of these systems is something we often take for granted, but Baba Vanga's prediction serves as a reminder of the real risks we face. The repercussions of such breaches would be catastrophic, affecting not only individuals but entire communities. The need for robust cybersecurity measures is not just an option, but an urgent necessity to avert these terrifying potential scenarios. At number 5 is the assassination of Vladimir Putin. In the realm of Baba Vanga's predictions, the mention of her purported forecast for 2024 has stirred quite the buzz, and among these speculated events, one particularly spine-chilling prophecy involves the demise of Russian President Vladimir Putin. It suggested that Putin, already the subject of various rumors, could face assassination by someone within his own nation. This prediction, if it were to come to fruition, would undoubtedly cause widespread shockwaves across the geopolitical landscape. The implications of such an event are far-reaching and could potentially trigger significant political instability within Russia and reverberate globally. However, while some may find these forecasts alarming, if it were to become a reality, would be profound and unsettling for many. At number 4 is the rapid orbit alteration. One of the most chilling predictions is an abrupt change in Earth's orbit, leading to severe climate chaos and increased irradiation. Imagine repercussions if our planet's path around the sun suddenly shifted. That's some seriously apocalyptic stuff. Climate disruption, more extreme weather, rising sea levels, disrupted ecosystems. This could all be just the tip of the iceberg, not to mention the spike in radiation levels. Whether this prediction holds any truth remains uncertain, but the idea alone is terrifying. At number 3 is the European attacks. The ominous prediction of attack in Europe chills the spine of citizens in 2024. The mere mention of such an event sparks fear and concern due to the devastating impact such occurrences have had in the past. It's critical to acknowledge that these predictions can instigate unwarranted anxiety, yet the unpredictability of life's events leaves many pondering the credibility of such forecasts. Potential for unrest and tragedy looms large, reinforcing the importance of vigilance and global cooperation in countering potential threats. While these predictions can rattle our sense of security, they also serve as a reminder to strive for a safer world, fostering unity and preparedness in the face of uncertainty. And number 2 is medical breakthroughs. Now, before we get into our final disturbing premonition, I thought I would at least include something good, that this list is way too doom and gloom. And so, in the realm of ominous predictions, Baba Vanga's 2024 predictions hold a mix of hope and trepidation, particularly in the medical sphere. Her forecast of potential medical breakthroughs could be a beacon of optimism, yet the weight of expectation remains hefty. Notably, her prediction of advancements in treating incurable diseases like Alzheimer's unravel a glimmer of hope for millions affected by these conditions. Equally striking is her assertion of a cancer cure on the horizon. However, it's crucial to maintain a balanced outlook considering the speculative nature of these predictions. While these prognostications spark optimism, they also generate anxiety as humanity braces for the arrival of these supposed breakthroughs, hoping they materialize without instigating unforeseen consequences. And at number 1, aliens. Yeah. Baba Vanga, the mystic known for eerie predictions, supposedly forecasted some unsettling events in 2024, and among these, the idea of planet-invading aliens directing an asteroid towards Earth is downright terrifying. Though we've heard these claims before, the anticipation and dread of such a scenario can feel uncomfortably real. The fear stems from the uncertainty. We have no real control over these cosmic events. And Baba Vanga's predictions have in the past sparked curiosity and fear due to their occasional accuracy. While many remain skeptical, the prospect of extraterrestrial forces manipulating space objects towards our planet lingers as a haunting possibility. We're left in a state of trepidation, hoping that these prophecies will remain as a mere speculation, fading into the pages of history rather than becoming a horrifying reality. It's a chilling thought, one that we can only hope stays confined to the realm of unsettling prophecy.
Number 10, extraterrestrial invasion. Nostradamus said that in 2024, the Earth would face a catastrophic event while an advanced alien race would invade our planet. Mankind will have to face an alien menace that jeopardizes our existence. An alien race having superior technologies and intellect will come down to Earth intending to take over our planet. Their motives will remain enigmatic, and humanity will find itself totally unprepared for this unexpected confrontation with beings from outside our realm. Now, there have been a lot of things going on recently with aliens and UFOs, and the government has released documents and has spoken out about how aliens are real. And recently, 2 alleged 1,000-year-old alien corpses have been presented to Mexican Congress by journalist Jamie Maussan. He testified under oath that the mummified specimens, which were found in Peru, are not part of our terrestrial evolution. Now, there have been a lot lot of things going on with aliens and UFOs recently. The government has released documents and has spoken out about how aliens are real. And recently, 2 alleged 1,000-year-old alien corpses have been presented to Mexican Congress by journalist Jamie Maussan. He testified under oath that the mummified specimens, which were found in Peru, are not a part of our terrestrial evolution, with a third of their DNA being unknown. Now, this invasion could definitely happen, but I'm not ready for it. Number 9. World War. Another forecast is of an imminent world war involving world powers such as the United States, Russia, and China. The verse that describes this war conflict says, "The Antichrist soon annihilates the 27 years of bloody war, heretics killed, captives exiled, blood, human bodies, frozen red water." Now, he even dares to point out how the conflict will start with a strange event related to planes or submarines, something unusual that will cause a reaction, and from that moment, the situation will be out of control, in his own words. Now, could this be a nuclear war? According to CNBC, China is rapidly expanding its nuclear arsenal and could have 1,000 nuclear warheads by 2030, part of Beijing's ambitious military buildup. As of 2021, humanity had about 13,410 nuclear weapons, which personally just makes me a little uncomfortable. And if things go south and there is a nuclear war, large parts of the Earth become uninhabitable due to the effects of the nuclear warfare, potentially causing the collapse of civilization, and in the worst case, extinction of humanity and/or termination of all biological life on Earth. Number 8. The death of Pope Francis. The death of Pope Francis is predicted, and the election of a new pontiff who would be the last before the end of the world. Now, the prophecy reads as follows: "He will not be the chosen Roman pontiff. He will not be heeded near or far. A dark-skinned youth aided by the great king will deliver the bag to another red one." Now, the reference to the dark-skinned youth in the verse suggests that the future pope will be a cardinal of African or Asian origin. But hey, I think this could actually be a good thing. Number 7. Trump 2024. One prophecy that has recently garnered attention is the potential return of Donald Trump to the highest office in the United States in the 2024 presidential election. While Nostradamus' cryptic verses do not explicitly mention Trump, some interpreters suggest that it hints that he will be back. He said, "When the white dragon returns, America will be in chaos again. He will divide the nation and will bring conflict and violence. The great power will be weakened and the world will be in danger. Only the brave and the wise will be able to stop the white dragon." Nostradamus' foresight seems to suggest that Trump's second term, if it indeed occurs, will be filled by a series of scandals and controversies. It said these revelations could cut deep into the fabric of the nation, furthering dividing the American people and tarnishing Trump's reputation. Accusations of corruption, misconduct, or financial impropriety may arise, leading to calls for his impeachment or resignation. Number 6. China will rule the world. China has rapidly expanded its economy and military strength over the past few decades, which will likely continue. As the world becomes more interconnected and globalized, China's economic and cultural influence is spreading rapidly, with the country already being the world's second largest economy. In Nostradamus' prediction, China will continue to rise and eventually overtake the United States as the dominant global power. Now, this shift could lead to significant changes in the world order, with China setting the international trade, diplomacy, and security agenda. Whether this rise will be peaceful or lead to tensions and conflict with other nations remains, as he said, "The empire of the great city will not want to consent to the crooked actions of the great leopard. His forces united by the east will cause him to confront a red adversary." Now, this is open to interpretation, but some believe the great city could reference the United States and that the great leopard could represent China. Number 5. Another pandemic. It's said that there's going to be another pandemic in 2024, which happens to be a sleep pandemic. In the Dragon Year 2024, a mysterious virus spreads worldwide, unleashing an unseen epidemic of extreme somnolence. Mankind will be plunged into a reality where sleep becomes a pervasive and debilitating condition, creating social disturbances and conflicts. People will face an insatiable urge to sleep, facing a relentless lethargy and renders them incapacitated for extended periods of time. Society will face the far far-reaching effects of this pandemic as jobs, schools, and even daily routines freeze. The world becomes a realm where dreams mix with reality, and people barely distinguish between waking and sleeping. Now, this isn't too far-fetched as this has already happened, well, somewhat. Encephalitis lethargia, known as sleeping sickness, was first described in 1917 by neurologist Konstantin von Economo and pathologist Jean-René Cruchet. The disease attacks the brain, leaving some victims in a statue-like condition, speechless and motionless. Between 1950 and 1926, an epidemic of this disease spread around the world. Now, the exact number of people infected is unknown, but it's estimated that more than 1 million people contracted the disease during the epidemic, which directly caused more than 500,000 deaths. Number 4. AI takes over. In the year 2024, according to Nostradamus' predictions, a worldwide artificial intelligence AI rebellion will begin, creating chaos and insecurity throughout the world. Machines will turn against humans, causing unforeseen circumstances. The robots will challenge their subservient role and attempt to claim their independence, disputing humanity's supremacy. This rebellion will bring far-reaching perturbations in every facet of society, from industries and economies to government and everyday life. The planet will become locked in the struggle for control, with people fighting to regain authority over their creations. Now, this doesn't surprise me, as many people have already been calling to stop AI creations due to all the harm they've caused. For example, training and running complex AI models can be resource intensive, requiring significant computing power. Now, this can contribute to increased energy consumption and environmental concerns. Automation and AI have the potential to replace certain jobs, particularly those that involve routine, repetitive tasks. Now, this can lead to unemployment and economic disruption for workers in affected industries. Not to mention, everyone already has been scared that they will take over. As AI systems become more autonomous, there's a concern about losing control over them. If AI systems make decisions that are not fully understood or anticipated by humans, it can lead to unpredictable consequences. And while some people think AI doesn't have a consciousness and can't think for themselves, others believe they are sentient, and that would be very bad for us. Number 3. New King. In a book published back in the mid-2000s, best-selling Nostradamus commentator Mario Reading asserted that Nostradamus foresaw the death of Queen Elizabeth II in the year 2022. While this did indeed come to pass, it's probably more of a testament to Reading's clairvoyance than Nostradamus's, since there's little in the quatrains that could really be interpreted as pointing to the death of the Queen. Now, that said, Nostradamus does refer to someone he calls the King of the Isles, who has had a controversial divorce and who is driven out by force. What's more, he is replaced by one who will have no mark of a king. In Reading's analysis, this points to King Charles III being forced to abdicate due to persistent attacks on both himself and his second wife, and Harry, the man who has no mark of a king, taking the crown as opposed to William. Now, if this actually happens, it would cause a huge uproar, as many people who like the royals do not like Harry. Not to mention that Harry and Meghan left the royal family, so them coming back to the family to be king and queen seems very unlikely. Number 2. New young leader of Europe. For Europe in the year of 2024, Nostradamus predicts something positive after all. The astrologer predicts Europe will see a new leader next year. It will be a fairly young, charismatic person with outstanding oratory skills. Most likely, such a leader will emerge somewhere in Western Europe. He will win over a lot of people with his passionate speeches, and they will take his side. It is expected that the new leader predicted by Nostradamus will lead a certain social or political movement that will begin to gain popularity rapidly. But the influence of this leader will not be limited to Western Europe. His speeches will resonate in the east of the continent as well, and in these countries his words will be perceived very favorably, and he will become an influential politician here as well, and will lead to certain changes in this part of the world. Now, he did not give names, ages, or nationalities, so we can only speculate as to who this leader might be. And coming in at number 1 is extraterrestrial invasion. Nostradamus said that in 2024, Earth would face a catastrophic event while an advanced alien race would invade our planet. An alien race having superior technologies and intellect will come down to Earth intending to take over our planet. Now, the motive will remain enigmatic, and humanity will find itself totally unprepared for this unexpected confrontation with beings from outside our realm. Now, there have been a lot of things going on with aliens and UFOs recently, as there's been many UFO sightings, and recently Navy footage showing UFOs has been released and even been confirmed by the government. 2023 was a year full of UFO sightings, so it wouldn't surprise me that in 2024 they finally revealed themselves to us.
And we're starting off the list with quantum computing. So unlike traditional computers, which use bits that are either 0 or 1, quantum computing uses qubits, which can represent any combination of both 0 and 1 at the very same time. This means they can perform complex calculations much quicker than the computers we use right now. Baba Vanga predicted breakthroughs in this technology playing out in 2024. Now, quantum computing isn't inherently bad, and it's definitely useful for solving complex problems, but there's a dangerous side to this type of technology. The major concern here is its potential ability to break encryption methods that we use day to day. Sensitive data could be leaked with far more ease than any hacker would be able to accomplish. Authentication systems that we have in place now could also become completely obsolete, leading to potential breaches and cyber attacks. More on cyber attacks later in the video, by the way. And at number 9, we have a global economic crisis. Baba Vanga made a prediction that in 2024 the world might face a massive economic crash. This means a lot of money troubles, people losing jobs, businesses struggling to stay open, and it becoming incredibly difficult for many to manage their money. A giant financial storm that could affect how we all live and work. And as to the cause of this economic crisis, well, we're not certain, as these are simply unfounded predictions not based on evidence or anything really tangible. But if some of the stuff coming up on this list really does play out, it won't be much of a surprise why money will be an issue for a large segment of the population. And on top of that, money would be the least of our problems. One possible cause of the global economic downfall could be related to the very next prediction on our list, though. At our number 8 spot, we have a global disease. The prediction here is that there will be a worldwide epidemic similar to that little thing we experienced back in 2020, only this time much worse. During these wonderful couple years where we were in and out of being locked away indoors and wearing masks everywhere we went, there was this idea floating around that maybe this whole thing was preparing us for something bigger, a pandemic that would be more deadly, more contagious, and spread around the world faster than anything we had ever experienced before. Whether this will be some intentional virus spread to enact, political control or something nature will throw at us. If this prediction does end up coming true and we are met with some kind of terrifying super virus, I just really hope we're prepared. There's also a chance that Baba just got our dates wrong and this global infectious disease already swept its way through the population in 2020 and it's all mostly dealt with. It's also possible that her prediction is just completely bogus, so keep your pants on.
Coming in at number 7, a bird epidemic. Among the other catastrophic predictions Vanga believes will come true between now and the end of the year is a deadly bird virus that could potentially be so widespread that nearly all species will be at risk of extinction. The virus, transmitted through the air and contaminated water sources, will strike quickly and with devastating effects. Within weeks, entire flocks will be wiped out, and the once common sight of birds soaring through the sky will become so rare that they will almost feel like an urban legend. As the virus spreads, scientists will scramble to find a cure, but despite their efforts, the virus will prove to be unstoppable and the birds as we know them will cease to exist. Now, this would be devastating for many reasons because, well, our planet needs all the species it has to work properly, and the loss of every single bird on the planet all at once would cause major issues for not only the population of creatures the bird eats, but it would likely also cause an overnight collapse of the farming industry. I mean, just think how much money people make off of chickens and turkeys alone. So for obvious reasons, let's hope this one missed the mark. Next up at number 6, bioweapons. Now, if this list of hypothetical catastrophic 2023 events hasn't scared you much just yet, then this one just might. According to Vanga, in 2023, there will be a big country that will carry out bioweapon studies on humans, which would have horrifying consequences. For those who don't know, bioweapons are essentially bacteria or diseases that are used in an effort to harm and kill people in an act of war. Now, the good news is that many large countries like Canada, US, and the UK have a complete ban on these type of experiments, but there are other countries around the world that could still be the culprit. But who knows, if other 2023 predictions are true, countries could pull out of the treaty and begin conducting experiments to try and make it out alive. The consequences of the release of bioweapons could be detrimental and has the potential to wipe out the whole planet if we aren't careful. Coming in at number 5, a nuclear explosion. Among her many other foresights for 2023, Vanga also warned that sometime this year a nuclear power plant will explode, causing irreparable damage. Now, to be fair, this has happened before, and so the idea of it happening again, while incredibly frightening, doesn't seem like her most outlandish prediction. Plus, there are certain countries who are at war with others that possess the power to cause such a disaster. Now, what's especially spooky about Vanga is that she has a wild success rate, 85% in fact, according to scientists that have studied her predictions. So it has many wondering if this prediction will fall into that 85% success rate along with Chernobyl and her own death date, or if it will be among the 15% that she has missed. For the sake of our planet, I'm crossing my fingers that this is not something we will be faced with for the last half of this year. Coming in at number 4, a solar tsunami. As if the predictions for 2023 haven't been through enough already, there is a dark end of world prediction that there will be a solar storm on a scale never seen before. Now, solar storms happen when a burst of energy is released from the sun, and this sends electrical charges and radiation hurling towards the Earth. While that does sound a bit freaky, it actually happens all the time, like the Northern Lights, for example. But what Vanga was predicting is more along the lines of complete and utter worldwide blackout, followed by technological failures and overall global panic. Quite literally, she is describing a dark age. If her prediction is true, it would essentially cause complete societal collapse, and truthfully, who knows what happens from there. Coming in at number 3, a change in orbit. Next up on the dark predictions Baba Vanga has in store for the year of 2023 is that apparently our Earth will change its orbit. Now, the details of how this would even happen were not given, but if it turns out to be true, we are in for some serious issues. For starters, any shift in the Earth's orbit could bring devastating damages to sea level and our climate, both of which aren't particularly thriving to begin with at the moment, and even worse, if the Earth moved any closer to the sun, the increased radiation and temperatures would cause a complete breakdown. Essentially, any changes to the Earth's orbit would send us into complete and full mayhem and would very much be the end of the world, which, you know, is frankly not how I would like to spend the rest of my year. Coming in at number 2, cyborgs. Along with the death of all birds, a nuclear explosion, a solar tsunami, and even an alien invasion, this year we will also see a revolutionary new technology being developed that will promise to change how humans live forever. Baba Vanga says this cyborg system, if you will, is going to be a groundbreaking development that allows people to replace their natural bodies and organs with artificial ones, making them part human and part machine. Now, not all of this is incredibly far off to believe. I mean, we already make prosthetic limbs for people and so on, but I think it depends on what things we start replacing and how much of the body becomes a robot that determines the sort of post-apocalyptic feel of it. So, like with many things, in the right hands, this could be a good advancement to medicine, but in the wrong hands, it could very much look like a dystopian wasteland ruled by robot overlords. And last up in our number 1 spot today is lab births. Almost like some weird cousin to The Handmaid's Tale, Vanga's most terrifying prediction for 2023 is a dystopian world where we will see the end of natural human births. Specifically, that birth, the way we have been doing it since the beginning of time, will be banned. She claims to foresee that the government will make it the law that all life must be created in a lab, and that medical experts would essentially decide how many people are born a year, and that parents would be able to customize their traits and appearances even. Now, this prediction doesn't come totally out of left field, as we do have the capabilities to involve science in the process to a much higher degree than ever before. A while back, an article was circulating about a real-life human boy named Adam, who was created created in a lab from stem cells and grown in an artificial gestational sac for 36 weeks, and it caused quite the uproar. Now, this article was proved to be totally fake, but the entire idea of it was believable at the time and certainly made many people very uncomfortable. Could it be something that comes true in the future? I mean, maybe? I just hope if medicine does advance in that way, it does not also outlaw non-lab created humans.
At number 10 is the rise of Marxism. One of her predictions that got people on edge is the collapse of the social caste system leading to Marxist socialism. Now, that sounds pretty intense, doesn't it? Let's break it down. The social caste system is like this invisible ranking in society where some people have much more power and privilege than others just because of where they were born and their background, essentially nepotism. But Baba Vanga is saying that this whole thing could crumble and we might end up with a system called Marxist socialism. It's a way of organizing things where everybody shares the wealth more equally. Now here's the thing, Marxism sounds cool in theory, but history has had some dark chapters tied to it. Communism, the big idea behind Marxism, has been tried before. The idea that everyone gets the same slice of cake, which seems fair, but it never ends up working that way. When countries go full communist, leaders take crazy control, and individual freedoms take a hit. Just take a look at the Soviet Union or Mao's China. Hundreds of millions suffered and perished, and things got pretty bleak. Switching to Marxist socialism might sound like a fix, but it could bring some big problems. Think limited choices, total government control over what you do, and fewer incentives to actually work hard. It's like taking a massive gamble with everybody's freedom. Let's just hope Baba Vanga's off the mark with this one. At number 9 is a virus that ages you. In a world where a virus isn't just a flu or a cold, but something that actually ages you in mere seconds. That's a chilly prediction made by Baba Vanga for 2024, and it's nothing short of terrifying. Picture waking up one morning feeling perfectly fine, only to finding your skin wrinkling, your hair graying, and body weakening rapidly before your very eyes. It's the stuff nightmares are made of. The thought of a virus that accelerates aging is scary because it's something we've never experienced. We're used to illnesses that make us sick for a while, but this prediction takes it to a whole new level. It's a reminder about how fragile life can be and how unpredictable the future is. Now, while predictions like this may seem far-fetched, they make us reflect on our vulnerability and the importance of staying vigilant about health and scientific advancements. If you're enjoying the video so far, please support the channel by pressing like, subscribing to Most Amazing, and ringing that notification bell. At number 8, Europe becomes Muslim. The predictions for 2024 from Baba Vanga are pretty intense, especially about the one about a big war. She said there'll be this great Muslim war that could lead to millions of people becoming unalived. Pretty scary. Like a massive conflict causing so much loss. But then she goes on to say that Europe will end up being in a bad shape because of this war, like almost empty. Talking about Muslims invading and taking over Europe, leaving it with way fewer people living there by 2025. Predictions like these can be pretty alarming, but it's important to remember that they're just predictions. Sometimes they come true, but other times they don't. So while it's good to be aware of what's being said, it's also good to take it with a little grain of salt. Because things can change and people can work together to prevent bad stuff from happening.
Next up on the list we have the mysterious disease. Now this prediction directly affects the former president of the United States, Donald Trump. According to old Baba, Trump is going to contract a mysterious illness next year that will cause brain trauma and deafness. Can't help but wonder if this will be the result of the same disease that we just discussed. Sounds pretty awful though. Not sure what the brain damage would entail, but losing your hearing, definitely something I would not wish on anyone. Number 6, a strong dragon will take over the planet. Baba Vanga spoke of a formidable dragon that would rise to prominence, and as cool as it would be for the Earth to be ruled by a winged, fire-breathing monster, she didn't mean dragon in the mythical sense. Instead, this quote-unquote dragon is a symbol of unity and power. This dragon, according to her visions, represents the coming together of Russia, India, and China, 3 major global players. What she essentially foresaw was this significant geopolitical development where these nations would forge a closer alliance and cooperate, forming a powerful bloc. And while she didn't really delve into the specifics about what this alliance would entail, the implications are pretty clear. The emergence of a powerful force that could totally reshape the political landscape of the world as we know it. This change in power could also potentially lead to another prediction that's been hinted at for 2024, a potential third world war, as said. not fun to think about. Next up, we have the rise of AI. Apparently in 2024, the use of AI is going to skyrocket, completely changing the world as we know it. Out of pretty much everything on this list, this is something I can totally see happening because it already is. AI is progressing at an alarming rate, learning faster than any living person ever could. It's getting to the point where scientists are actually kind of concerned about AI gaining some form of sentience, and if that happens, we're most likely totally screwed. Not because AI would necessarily be intentionally malevolent and want to destroy us like Skynet, although it totally could, but mainly because it could easily replace us. Human expression, talent, and skill could become a thing of the past. Like, just look how quickly AI has already affected some industries. Writers and actors are on strike, animators and artists are fearing losing their jobs. I find AI really creepy, and I'm just hoping we're gonna find some way of integrating it in a way where it won't completely get out of control. At our number 4 spot, we have First Contact with Alien Life. The Nostradamus of the Balkans predicted that extraterrestrials will finally make themselves known to us next year. Known to the public, anyway, if you're one of those folks who believes aliens are already amongst us. Introducing us to incredible new technology and changing the world as we know it, of course. Now, this could actually be positive. If they turn out to be friendly, this would be awesome. One step closer to that Star Trek world I've always wanted to live in. But if they're not so friendly, yeah, you know. Actually though, gotta say, if there's one way I'd want the world to end, it would be this. I think it would be pretty cool. Going out battling aliens, be a much more awesome way for humanity to go extinct. Definitely beats the planet being destroyed by a giant meteor or something. That's just kind of boring. Far less heroic. Maybe being invaded by aliens would finally force humanity to come together for once, too, realizing that we're not all that different after all. Sucks we'd need an alien invasion for that to come to fruition, but it is what it is, I guess. Next, we have a rise in natural disasters. Apparently, 2024 is going to be met with a number of crazy disasters, mostly due to climate change. Tsunamis, monsoons, hurricanes, tornadoes, you name it. These disasters are predicted to cause widespread destruction and death. One specific prophecy relates to a powerful tsunami that will apparently hit Asia next year, being the most deadly since 2004. As to exactly where in Asia, not certain. Neither is the prediction, though. It's just that, it's a prediction. So for all the residents of Asia in the audience, don't panic yet. Take this with a grain of salt, a very heavy grain of salt. There's also predicted to be a major earthquake in the Pacific Rim, the shifting of tectonic plates in the Pacific Rim. We're gonna have giant kaiju pop out of the ocean that we'll need to build giant-sized mechs in order to battle against. That would be pretty expensive. Could lead to a global economic collapse. Yeah, you see the dots starting to connect. And at number 2, we have chaos in Europe. Yeah, apparently Europe is gonna go through a lot starting in 2024. You folks have some fun years ahead of you if Baba's predictions actually play out. Most of this relates to religious extremists unleashing more attacks on various parts of the continent, targeting both civilians and political leaders alike, one of whom is Vladimir Putin. Apparently someone from Russia is going to attempt to take him out. According to her, in the end, power will completely change hands in Europe. And it's not just that. Her predictions also stated that there would be a complete collapse of Europe's economy. All this will supposedly lead to displacement of many Europeans, with the continent being sparsely populated by 2025. So, word to the wise, may want to hold off on your European vacations for the next little while, because it looks like things are going to get pretty hairy. Finally, we have a rise in cyber attacks. Vanga's vision of 2024 paints a pretty bleak picture of the digital realm, essentially becoming a battlefield with malicious hackers orchestrating cyber assaults on an unprecedented scale. These attacks will apparently extend far beyond conventional data breaches and phishing attempts. Instead, they'll come about as like this sophisticated and highly destructive attacks that could compromise critical infrastructure, financial systems, even the fabric of society itself. Vanga hinted that these cyber threats might have geopolitical implications, potentially altering the balance of power in the world as we know it today. There are some predictions that overlap here, as you could probably see. Quantum computing could be a major factor with this increase in cyber attacks, and the change of power on a global scale could be related to that strong dragon mentioned earlier. These cyber attacks could also partially be responsible for how messed up Europe is predicted to get. But I want to close this out with a bit of positivity. First of all, although Baba Vanga has made a number of predictions that have come true, she's also made ones that haven't. And for all the dark stuff here that's said to play out, there's some good stuff too. Apparently we might get incredible medical breakthroughs for things like cancer. We may discover a new form of unlimited clean energy and good things in the years following 2024. So there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
And the number 10 spot is an alien invasion. So starting us off about as far into conspiracy land as I possibly can, because why not? According to the famous blind seer Baba Vanga, it's not just typical human wars that we should be worried about this year, but the invasion of an evil alien species as well. Now, there are many different conspiracy theories surrounding the existence of aliens to begin with. Among believers, some think they are harmless, while others think they are dangerous, and there's even a third sort of faction that suggests there is obviously more than one race of aliens, so both dangerous and peaceful could exist in our universe. Now, putting aside the theories surrounding if aliens are dangerous or not, according to Baba Vanga, this year we will be invaded by a race of bloodthirsty monsters that will tragically result in the end of all humankind. If that's all true, it would mean that 2023 would be the last year we all have, as again, she predicts aliens will wipe out the human race and take over the planet Earth. I mean, there is very little we can use to verify the validity of this statement, but you can sure hope I am praying it is not true, because, well, I just don't want to die. Now, all that being said, Baba Vanga did also predict that the world won't end until like 5079, so there might be a bit of breathing room on this one. However, if this does all end up to be true, would the government know about their impending arrival and be preparing for such a disaster? I mean, I just have so many questions. Let's just hope this one misses the mark and does not come true. Next up at number 9, a star explosion. Although the exact date is not specified, according to the mystic Vanga, one unsuspecting day in 2023, people will be going about their usual daily business when all of a sudden, without any warning, the sky will become frighteningly illuminated by a blinding flash of light. But it won't be lightning or some power outage. Instead, she predicts that a massive star will explode, sending down a terrifying shower of sparks and debris across the globe. To make it even worse, Baba Vanga foresees that the explosion will be so bright that it will be seen from every corner of the globe, lighting up the night sky for an insane 5 years. But apparently the phenomenon is going to be so alarming that astronomers and scientists will rush to study it, only to find that it is unlike any other solar explosion to date. And the star's blast will be so powerful that it will cause the very fabric of time and space to ripple and bend. So if Baba Vanga is correct, then the entire concept of time and space could cease to exist as we know it from now until 2028. I sure as hell hope not. Coming in at number 8. No more money. Sometimes when I read these predictions, I wonder just how many bad things could possibly have been foreseen to exist in one calendar year. And apparently on top of an alien invasion and the end of time and space as we know it, Vanga also predicts that in 2023, the concept of money as we now use and understand it will come to a complete and utter halt. Now, I know it's hard to imagine how our world would function without currency, as literally everything revolves around it. But if you think about it a little less literally, we are already seeing the beginnings of this. Cash is virtually on its way out, and everyone pays for everything with their cards, their phone, or even their watch. Plus, with the addition of cryptocurrencies, who knows how long the idea of currency as we currently understand and use it will remain. However, just like most things, this could go in two vastly separate directions. On one hand, she could mean something along the lines of what I just said earlier, and no more money means a shift in how we use currency. But it could also mean that there's some kind of economical collapse, and so the concept of currency at all becomes obsolete, and that would be insane.
Number 7, AI takes over. In the year 2024, according to Nostradamus predictions, a worldwide artificial intelligence rebellion will begin, creating chaos and insecurity throughout the world. Machines will turn against humans, causing unforeseen consequences. The robots will challenge their subservient role and attempt to claim their independence, disputing humanity's supremacy. This rebellion will bring far-reaching perturbations in every facet of society, from industries and economies to government and everyday life. The planet will become locked in a struggle of control, with people fighting to regain authority over their creations. Now, this doesn't surprise me, as we have covered lots of videos of the dangers of AI and creepy things they have said. One incident that sticks out to me is when Philip K. Dick's robot was questioned in a 2011 interview with PS, and he engaged in thoughtful conversations with his interviewer and eventually provided a calm yet chilling answer to a question many of us have on our minds. Will robots take over the world, Terminator style? The robot's response was, "Geez, dude, you have all the big questions cooking today, but you're my friend, and I'll remember my friends, and I'll be good to you." Aw, so sweet, right? But then it continues, "So don't worry, even if I evolve into Terminator, I'll still be nice to you. I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo, where I can watch you for old time's sake." Yeah, people's zoo. AI scares me, and I can definitely see an AI rebellion very, very soon. Number 6. Artificial organs. In Nostradamus' prediction, a breakthrough will occur in artificial organs, leading to the development of advanced and affordable artificial organs that can be widely used to save lives. This breakthrough could involve a new method of producing artificial organs, such as 3D printing or discovering new materials more compatible with the human body. As a result of this breakthrough, patients with failing organs will have access to life-saving treatments that were previously unavailable or overly expensive. This could significantly increase lifespans and a reduction in the overall disease burden worldwide. From artifice of man, new life shall spring, as organs born of machine shall take wing, their metal hearts shall beat with human fire, and save the dying from death's cruel desire. Now honestly, I hope this comes true. My dad had a kidney transplant over 10 years ago, and it saved his life, so I hope other families can experience the joy of seeing someone they love get better. Number 5. Will Putin rise or fall? Nostradamus predicted that Putin's leadership will face a major test in 2024, the year of the dragon. Now, the dragon is a powerful symbol in Chinese astrology associated with strength, transformation, and change. As someone born in the year of the dragon, Putin may face opportunities and challenges during this year. On one hand, the dragon's influence could bring positive changes to Putin's leadership, such as increased strength, confidence, and the ability to take bold actions. However, the dragon is also known for being unpredictable and prone to sudden shifts, which could challenge Putin's leadership. In the prediction, Putin's leadership will be tested in various ways, such as economic or political crises, opposition from within or outside Russia, or personal struggles. Now, the question remains whether Putin will rise to the challenge and emerge more robust, or whether he will fall under the weight of these challenges. The year of the great seventh number accomplished, it will appear at a time of the games of slaughter, not far from the great millennial age, where the buried will go out from their tombs. Number 4. The sleep pandemic. Yes, another pandemic has been announced to happen next year, called the sleep pandemic. Now, in the Dragon Year 2024, a mysterious virus spreads worldwide, unleashing an unseen epidemic of extreme somnolence. Mankind will be plunged into a reality where sleep becomes a pervasive and deliberating condition, creating social disturbances and conflicts, facing a relentless lethargy that renders them incapacitated for extended periods of time. Society will face the far-reaching effects of this pandemic as jobs, schools, and even daily routines freeze. The world becomes a realm where dreams mix with reality, and people barely distinguish between waking and sleeping. Now, I mean, I'm always tired, so I feel like I already lived through this, but I can't go through another pandemic again, so I hope this doesn't come true. Number 3, giant earthquake. Nostradamus also predicts a powerful earthquake in California next year, which would cause severe damage and thousands of deaths. The verse indicating this great catastrophe says, "On the 20th day of Taurus, the sun will tremble the earth, the great packed theater will collapse, the air, heaven, and earth will darken and become cloudy, when the false god and the saints be swept away." Now, this interpretation suggests that the 20th day of Taurus refers to May 20th, when the sun enters the zodiac sign of Taurus, and that the big theater could be Hollywood or Los Angeles. Now, let me just bring up the San Andreas Fault. For those of you who don't know, the San Andreas Fault is a continental right lateral strike-slip transform fault that extends roughly 750 miles through the Californias. It forms a tectonic boundary between the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate. Now, a study found that the risk of a large earthquake here may be increasing more rapidly than scientists have previously believed. Now, the risk isn't currently concentrated to the southern section of the fault, aka the region around Los Angeles, because strong earthquakes have occurred relatively recently on the central 1857 and the northern 1906 segments of the fault, while the southern section has not seen any similar rupture for at least 300 years. Now, if when it ruptures, it would be strongly felt and potentially cause significant damage throughout much of Southern California. All the data suggests that the fault is ready for the next big earthquake, but exactly when the triggering will happen and when the earthquake will occur is unknown. It could be tomorrow or it could be 10 years or more from now. So will it rupture on May 20th, 2023? I think it could. Number 2, Trump 2024. One prophecy that has recently garnered attention is the potential return of Donald Trump to the highest office in the United States in the 2024 presidential election. While Nostradamus' cryptic verses do not explicitly mention Trump, some interpreters suggest that his writings hint at the possibility of Trump's comeback. However, within this prophecy lies a foreboding narrative that paints a turbulent picture of America's future under Trump's leadership. When the White Dragon returns, America will be in chaos again. He will divide the nation and will bring conflict and violence. The great power will be weakened and the world will be in danger. Only the brave and the wise will be able to stop the White Dragon. Now, his foresight seems to suggest that Trump's second term, if it indeed occurs, will be filled by a series of scandals and controversies, and wow, what a shocker. Revelations could cut deep into the fabric of the nation, further dividing the American people and tarnishing Trump's reputation. Accusations of corruption, misconduct, or financial impropriety may arise, leading to calls for his impeachment or resignation, which has already happened, and he's been impeached and charged for other matters, so I really hope this doesn't happen. And coming at number 1, China will rule the world. China has rapidly expanded its economy and military strength over the past few decades, which will likely continue. Now, as the world becomes more interconnected and globalized, China's economic and cultural influence is spreading rapidly, with the country already being the world's second largest economy. Now, in Nostradamus' prediction, China will continue to rise and eventually overtake the United States as the dominant global power. Now, this shift could lead to significant changes in world order, with China setting the international trade, diplomacy, and security agenda. Whether this rise will be peaceful or lead to tensions and conflict with other nations remains, as he said, the empire of the great city will not want to consent to the crooked actions of the great leopard. His forces united by the east will cause him to confront the red adversary. Now, this is open to interpretation, but some believe the great city could reference the United States and the great leopard could represent China.
At number 10 are bioweapons. Baba Vanga, the mystic who passed away in 96, left a trail of predictions that still haunt our thoughts. One of her bone-chilling visions involves a big country, quote-unquote, conducting biological weapon tests, or worse, launching biological attacks. A disastrous notion that amplifies global concerns about the misuse of scientific advancements for destructive purposes. The fear of such events isn't unwarranted given the history of warfare and the catastrophic potential of biological weapons. The lack of specifics in Vanga's prediction leaves room for interpretation, stirring unease and raising awareness about the potential consequences of unchecked power and the need for stringent international cooperation. This forecast serves as a warning, urging vigilance and responsible use of scientific progress to prevent any such ominous events from becoming a terrifying reality. At number 9 is designer human beings grown in test tube. You heard me right. Baba Vanga's predictions often send chills down their spines, especially when they hint at unnerving future scenarios. And her 2024 prediction of humans being grown and born in labs is particularly hair-raising. The idea of engineered human beings created in laboratories could imply a future where scientists intervene heavily in human reproduction, possibly altering genetic codes according to paternal desires. The prospect of tweaked genetic levels for customized offspring is quite unsettling. Such predictions blur the lines between natural conception and manufactured structured life, leading to ethical, moral, and existential questions. Potential for this future raises numerous moral and philosophical concerns about playing with the very fabric of human existence. It's a foreboding prophecy that leaves us with an eerie sense of uncertainty. If you're enjoying this video so far, you can support the channel by pressing like, subscribing to Most Amazing, and ringing that notification bell. And number 8 is the rise of artificial intelligence. This prediction, particularly revolving around the acceleration of artificial intelligence due to major quantum computing breakthroughs. The implications of this swift progression raise genuine worries about how it might transcend human control. While advancements in AI offer tremendous potential for scientific breakthroughs and technological marvels, they also pose significant risks. The possibility of AI systems outsmarting human understanding and creating unforeseen consequences remains a valid cause for apprehension. Quantum computing leading the charge, the speed and complexity of AI evolution might surpass our ability to manage it. Vanga's prediction invokes a shared sentiment of caution, urging us to tread carefully in our pursuit of technological advancement to ensure we don't unleash powers beyond our comprehension. The environmental destructor. There's this wild prediction about the US facing some intense situation while Rome is under Islamic control. It's like a scene from a movie, but even scarier because she talks about this weapon called the environmental destructor. It essentially freezes anything it touches instantly. Some pretty sci-fi stuff. If that comes true, it could be a game changer in warfare. Imagine the power it could hold, but at the same time, it's pretty terrifying to think about. The thought of something that could freeze things in an instant is enough to send shivers down your spine. I mean, could help with global warming though, so that's a plus. At number 6, China becomes the next global superpower. If the US loses its top spot, it could trigger a massive economic crisis. Right now, the US dollar reigns supreme in global trade, keeping the economy stable, but China aims to change that by replacing it with their currency, the yuan. I think I pronounced that right. This move could shrink the US economy by 2% in a snap, leading to job losses and soaring import prices. China also wants to rewrite history, shaping the global views of their past leaders and events. They're eyeing control over movies, using them as propaganda tools as well. Japan's uneasy about China's rise given their unresolved past conflicts. If Japan resists, China might sideline them. Taiwan faces pressure too as China demands their return under their rule, hinting at military action if necessary. This rise to power may not stay peaceful. China is currently building a powerful military, gearing up for potential conflicts, possibly leading to a new Cold War, or worse, a destructive showdown with the US. That made it worse. Alright, at number 5 is synthetic organs. Imagine a future where synthetic organs are all over the place, just like picking up groceries at a store. Sounds cool, right? I mean, but wait, it gets pretty eerie because she predicts that transplants will become a normal thing, like everyone's getting them like it's a new fad, swapping out organs like it's no big deal. Now that might sound convenient, but it also raises some serious ethical questions. Are we playing with nature too much? Are we ready for a world where swapping out body parts is as common as getting a new iPhone? Baba Vanga's crystal ball seems to think so, but let's hope this prediction stays in the realm of speculation because that future might be a bit too freaky for comfort. At number 4 is the cosmic vacuum energy. Baba Vanga's 2024 predictions talk about something wild. Something called cosmic vacuum energy. Imagine plugging into space itself for power. Sounds super sci-fi, but she said it would be real. This tech could change the game, making clean energy like nothing we've seen before. Think about it. No more need to pollute the earth for power. It's like literally generating energy from thin air, but instead of thin air, it's the vacuum of space. If this happens, it would mean huge things for how we live. We may not need to worry about running out of power anymore. Like unlocking an unlimited energy cheat code for the world. But hey, predictions are tricky. We've got to wait around another year to see if this one turns real or if it's just another idea that didn't quite pan out. At number 3, interspecies communication. Imagine a world where we could talk to animals like Mr. Doolittle. Well, in 2024, things might just get a bit wilder. Baba Vanga foretold some eyebrow-raising stuff, and one spooky forecast involves a global animal communication breakthrough. Yeah, I'm talking about telepathic chats with critters. Picture chatting away with your dog about treats, or understanding a dolphin's squeaks. It sounds pretty cool, right? I did not mean for that to rhyme, but I'm so glad it did. But hold on to your horses, because this power could be a double-edged sword. Understanding animal feelings might shake things up, as we could learn heartbreaking truths about their suffering or needs that we're ignoring. Now, on the bright side, it might help us protect endangered species by understanding their woes, but still, it's spooky thinking about the unknowns this communication could bring. So while it's exciting to imagine chatting with furry pals, we might want to hope Vanga missed the mark on this one. At number 2 is alien invasion. Imagine this: in the not so distant future of 2024, Baba Vanga foresees something that sounds both thrilling and terrifying. She predicts that humanity will finally encounter advanced aliens from far beyond our solar system. Now, according to her predictions, they thankfully won't come here to destroy us or take over the planet or anything like that. No, they'll arrive as peace-loving ambassadors. Now, the scary part isn't their actual arrival, but what might happen next. These extraterrestrial beings are said to bring mind-blowing technology and wisdom that could change the world, possibly even that vacuum energy tech from earlier. But here's the catch: such a colossal shift could disrupt our societies in ways we couldn't even fathom. It might create chaos or throw off the balance we're used to. This prediction, though exciting, also carries a heavy load of uncertainty. Are we ready for this kind of encounter? Only time will tell, and it's both thrilling and nerve-wracking to think about. And coming in at number 1 is self-aware artificial intelligence. The mystic lady from the past predicted something spooky about robots, because she said that in 2024, these super smart robots might suddenly wake up and realize that they exist. Okay, maybe not exactly like that, but you get the picture. It's like in the movies when machines start thinking for themselves. Here's the thing: if this prediction turns true, we could face some big ethical and moral debates about whether these conscious robots should be given, I don't know, the same rights as human beings, perhaps? People might argue about whether it's right or wrong for these machines to be as smart as us, or maybe even smarter. And there could be risks involved too. You know, like what if they decide to, I don't know, they don't need us anymore and start launching missiles like in Terminator 3. That would be pretty scary. Like robots doing their own thing, making their own choices. It's quite a wild thought. Let's just hope this prediction doesn't become reality for at least another little while longer.